If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The entire football world woke up to a shockwave that nobody, absolutely nobody, saw coming. For years we've been living with the idea that Tom Brady's legendary career was sealed, that his retirement was definitive, that we had already seen the last throes of the greatest quarterback of all time. He left the field with his unmatched resume, his 7 Super Bowl rings, his countless records, and an aura that seemed untouchable. But this morning, rumors started spilling out that Brady isn't done, that the itch to compete has dragged him back, and not just anywhere. He is coming to Cleveland. Yes, the Cleveland Browns, the franchise that has known more heartbreak than glory, the city that craves a football savior, is suddenly at the center of the biggest sports story of the decade. The whispers began softly, almost like a joke, and then they grew louder, until insiders started hinting that the deal is not only real, but already closed. Brady, the ageless wonder, has chosen Cleveland as his battlefield, and if you're shaking your head in disbelief, you're not alone. The question now isn't if it happened, but why? Why Cleveland? Why now? Why Brady again? The timing of this move raises so many eyebrows that it almost feels like a plot twist written for a sports drama. Brady had every reason to stay retired. His family, his business ventures, his comfortable position as an icon beyond the field. But apparently, something about the Cleveland Browns project whispered to him in a way no other team ever could. Maybe it's the challenge. Maybe it's the chance to write an ending even more surreal than his Tampa Bay miracle. Or maybe it's simply that hunger inside him that refuses to die. The rumor mill insists the Browns front office pitched him a vision of redemption, of rewriting not just his own legacy, but the entire franchise's cursed history. Imagine the storylines. Tom Brady, the hero of New England, the conqueror of Tampa, now walking into the Dawg Pound with the weight of a city desperate for hope. No franchise in modern football carries such a mix of loyal fans and heartbreaking results. Could it be that Brady, always driven by narratives bigger than the game itself, wants to be remembered not just as the greatest, but as the one who finally brought glory to Cleveland? And here's the wild part. Insiders are claiming that this isn't just a short-term gimmick or a publicity stunt. Reports suggest that Brady isn't signing for a ceremonial one-game deal, but for a legitimate run. The idea is that he intends to start, to lead, and to fight for the Browns as if this is truly the next chapter of his career. The Cleveland coaching staff, stunned but excited, allegedly sees him as a perfect bridge quarterback, someone who can stabilize a roster that has been filled with talent but lacking the right direction. This isn't about selling tickets or grabbing headlines. It's about belief that Tom Brady, even at his age, can step into the chaos of the AFC North and make the Browns not just competitive, but terrifying. Imagine him going head-to-head with Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and that Steelers defense. That's the stuff of movie scripts. And if the whispers are true, Brady didn't just agree to play. He demanded the full keys to the offense. Of course, reactions have been explosive across the league. Some players can't believe it. Others are already tweeting their disbelief, and many are outright terrified at the thought of facing Brady in a Browns uniform. Fans in Cleveland are split between laughter, tears, and total euphoria, not knowing if this is a dream or a prank. Rival fan bases are mocking the move, calling it desperate, calling it unrealistic, but deep down, they know you never bet against Tom Brady. This is the same man people counted out when he left New England, the same man who turned Tampa Bay into champions overnight. Why would Cleveland be any different? Social media is burning, sports talk shows are salivating, and even the most skeptical analysts are admitting that if anyone can pull this off, it's Brady. The aura he brings, the confidence he radiates, has always been bigger than numbers or mechanics. It's psychological warfare, and if the Browns really landed him, the entire NFL landscape just shifted in ways nobody could have prepared for. This isn't just news, it's a storm rolling through football's very core. But behind all the noise, there's the quiet question that lingers like a shadow. Can he really do it again? Brady's age has been the headline for years, and while he has defied time more than any athlete we've ever seen, the body eventually demands its limits. The Browns' offensive line will need to be ironclad, their coaching flawless, their system tailored to his needs. This isn't 2015 Brady. This is a man who has already walked into the sunset and chosen to return. Will the fire in his heart be enough to ignite the roster around him? Or will this comeback risk tarnishing his immaculate story? Yet, even with those doubts, the sense of inevitability surrounds his name. He thrives on doubt, on skepticism, on proving everyone wrong. Cleveland, a city that knows suffering, may be the perfect canvas for his last masterpiece. If this rumor holds true, we aren't just witnessing a comeback. We're witnessing history attempting to bend itself one last time to the will of Tom Brady. And you can almost hear the whisper. Maybe this isn't impossible. Maybe it's destiny. Meanwhile, whispers are already leaking about how Brady has been preparing in secret. Reports claim he never truly stopped training, that his nutrition, his regimen, his obsessive lifestyle never dipped below the standards that carried him through 2 decades of dominance. Apparently, he has been throwing quietly, working with private receivers, and keeping his arm alive for just this kind of opportunity. And now that opportunity has landed in the unlikeliest of places. If the deal is real, the Browns may be unveiling him soon, and the world will see just how serious this comeback really is. The image of Brady holding up a Cleveland Browns jersey, wearing that orange helmet, walking into First Energy Stadium, feels surreal, almost like an alternate universe. Yet here we are, standing on the edge of a rumor that could rewrite NFL mythology. If Brady is indeed back, if he is truly walking onto that field again, this isn't just a headline. It's a seismic cultural moment. People will talk about it for years. Fans will remember where they were when they first heard it. And Cleveland, of all cities, could become the new epicenter of the Brady legend. The league offices must be buzzing, broadcasters already plotting schedules, networks salivating over ratings, and advertisers praying this story is confirmed. Because the return of Tom Brady isn't just about football, it's about spectacle, it's about money, it's about shaking the foundation of American sports. For the Browns, it's about validation, a chance to flip the script from perennial heartbreakers to miracle makers. Imagine the energy in that stadium, the chaos in that division, the headlines that will run daily. The man who refused to be ordinary, who refused to accept time's limits, is now tying his fate to one of the most cursed franchises in history. If the rumor turns into reality, then football just got its biggest twist since Brady's very first Super Bowl run. The only question left is whether this will end in fairy tale glory or heartbreaking disaster. But one thing is certain. The entire world is watching, waiting, holding its breath. Because if Tom Brady really puts on that Cleveland Browns uniform, the NFL will never, ever be the same again. The deeper this rumor grows, the more people are starting to connect dots that at first looked like nothing but scattered coincidences. Some claim Brady has been spotted in Cleveland more than once over the last few weeks, always under the radar, always carefully avoiding attention. Hotel staff allegedly recognized him, but were told to keep quiet. A few fans swear they saw a man who looked exactly like Brady walking into the Browns training facility at odd hours. Could these sightings really have been nothing? Or were they the breadcrumbs of something huge developing right under our noses? Cleveland has never been a hotspot for NFL gossip, so the sudden swirl of attention makes the whole story even more believable. If Brady was simply visiting, the whispers wouldn't have snowballed into this level of frenzy. But now the narrative has become unstoppable. He's not just a retired legend. He's the centerpiece of what feels like a football revolution. And let's be honest, every sign points to Brady loving this kind of chaos, this kind of anticipation. If history tells us anything, it's that Tom Brady thrives the most when the world doubts and speculates. And right now, speculation is everywhere. On the other side, you have current Browns players reportedly in total disbelief. Some are thrilled, some are nervous, and some are worried about what it means for their own future on the roster. Imagine being a quarterback on Cleveland's depth chart and waking up to the news that Tom Brady might be walking in to take your spot. It's both a nightmare and a surreal honor. Defensive players, on the other hand, are buzzing with excitement at the chance to line up next to a living legend, someone they've only watched on television or admired from a distance. For years, Cleveland has been known for its passionate fan base and wasted potential, but now the locker room atmosphere could shift overnight into something historic. Insiders whisper that coaches are already sketching playbooks with Brady in mind, even though nothing has been formally announced. That shows the level of seriousness surrounding this rumor. Coaches don't risk wasting time on fantasy, unless fantasy is about to become reality. And for those who've played with Brady before, the message is clear. He transforms entire cultures. The Browns could be next. Meanwhile, rival teams are scrambling to make sense of what this could mean for the competitive balance of the league. The AFC North was already considered one of the toughest divisions in football, with Burrow, Lamar, and Pittsburgh's defense making it a constant battlefield. Add Tom Brady into that cauldron, and suddenly the matchups become must-watch television on a weekly basis. The NFL schedule makers would go wild reshuffling primetime games to maximize viewership, because Brady's return in Cleveland would be nothing less than a goldmine. Commentators are already fantasizing about storylines. Brady outdueling Burrow in Cincinnati. Brady against the ferocity of the Ravens' pass rush. Brady silencing the Steelers' crowd at Heinz Field. These aren't just games anymore. They become cultural events. Rival coaches might laugh publicly, but privately you can bet they're watching film right now, plotting how to stop him if this story breaks wide open. Because deep down, everyone knows that even if he's older, even if he's slower, Tom Brady still brings fear. Fear that he'll take your dreams, your season, and crush them, just as he has done countless times before. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. And then there's the bigger picture. What does this mean for Brady's legacy? Many believe he has nothing left to prove, that his status as the greatest is untouchable. Yet others argue that this move, if confirmed, could elevate him to mythical status. It's one thing to dominate with Bill Belichick in New England, another to win in Tampa Bay with stacked weapons, but Cleveland? The franchise synonymous with pain, with heartbreak, with almosts. If Brady can flip that script, it would go beyond football. It would cement him as an athlete who defied history itself. Of course, there's also the risk. If he fails, critics will say he should have stayed retired, that he chased too much, that he tarnished perfection. But knowing Brady, that fear of failure is exactly what fuels him. He's never been content with being good. He's always chased impossible greatness. Maybe Cleveland is the ultimate impossible. Maybe that's why he chose it. And maybe, just maybe, the football gods are smiling, preparing to give us one last unbelievable chapter in a career already filled with them. If the announcement does come in the next few days, the unveiling in Cleveland would likely be one of the most surreal press conferences in NFL history. Picture the scene. Tom Brady stepping up to the podium, cameras flashing, fans in shock, media outlets broadcasting worldwide. The questions would be endless, the speculation unstoppable. Why Cleveland? Why now? What changed after all this time? And more importantly, how long does he plan to stay? You can almost hear the roar of the Dawg Pound, the disbelief turning into thunderous cheers as Brady lifts that orange jersey for the first time. It would be a moment burned into sports history, the type of imagery played for decades in highlight reels, documentaries, and debates. But behind the spectacle, there would be a sharp focus from Brady himself. Those who know him best say he never shows up without a plan. He doesn't step onto a stage unless he's convinced he can deliver. That's what makes the idea of him in Cleveland both bizarre and believable. If Tom Brady has chosen this city, this team, this chapter, then it isn't random. It's calculated, it's purposeful, and it's aimed at shocking the world all over again. And so the NFL finds itself bracing for a potential storyline no one could have predicted. The league thrives on drama, on storylines that stretch beyond the field, and nothing could deliver that better than Brady's return in a Browns uniform. Imagine the ticket sales, the merchandise flying off shelves, the sudden flood of Cleveland jerseys in every corner of America. Imagine the media coverage, the debates on every sports talk show, the fans camping outside training camp just for a glimpse of history. Even people who don't watch football would tune in, because the narrative is irresistible. The greatest quarterback ever, risking it all for one last miracle, in the most unlikely place of all. Whether this ends in triumph or heartbreak, it will become a saga that defines the sport for years to come. And maybe that's what Brady wants. Not just another win, not just another trophy, but a story so unbelievable it feels larger than life. Cleveland isn't just a team, it's a stage. And Tom Brady, master of rewriting scripts, might be ready to deliver his most unforgettable act yet. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dog Pound conversation. Go Browns!